Welcome all to a new video. In this video I will discuss or I will demonstrate how to create the double line on the pattern, just to make the pattern more interesting, especially if you want to use it for painting. If you want to paint the pattern and make it use it for artwork. Usually once you finish the drawing of the pattern, it will end up with something similar to what you see in this video, and this is in the screen now, which is a single line. But you can add the double line effect, which also you can extend it to have the weaving, which where the line goes up and down based on where they meet, they interact with each other. So for this video I will show you the tools that you require. The first tool, which is the template for ellipses, they come in different sizes and shapes. Usually I'm looking for the smaller circles here based on the size of the pattern itself. So as I said, they come in different sizes and different shapes. As you can see on the screen, these are the two samples, which is usually when you draw with it. I will show you on this one because this is it has more options, and also it gives you the size of the circle, the radius of the circle. For example, if you see on this one, it is mentioned, let me zoom in. You can see the sizes which is mentioned in the template here, like 4. This is 4 millimeters, the radius of the circle. Usually you want to have the circles in proportion of the pattern itself. You don't want the circle to be too large where you will end up with not seeing the shapes or covering the shapes. For example, in these areas, if you have too large circles, once you draw the double lines, this gap will disappear. So the way that you can use this, for example, if I'm using the 3.2 circle, I will draw. Let me use the 8-pointed star as a sample. You will find in each circle there are 4 lines. They indicate where you will align these lines on the pattern itself. Especially if it is a 4-fold, it will become easier. So the whole idea is to ensure that this circle, or the point where you want to draw the circle on it, is in the middle of the circle, and you will not draw, or you will not align the circle on the intersections. You will only add the circle on the corners, like for example here. Maybe if you are a beginner, you will draw the circle here and here also. But if you look to it, for example, I will not draw a circle here or here, because once I draw the circle on this point and on this point, when I connect them, automatically this area will be connected. So let me demonstrate on this circle. As I said, I will use the 3.2 millimeter circle as the guide for me. As you can see, for 4-fold patterns, it is easy because all the angles, or most of the angles, are either 90 degrees or 45 degrees. So it is easier to align the circle. Or sorry, see here I made a mistake where I draw the smaller circle. Okay, let me just draw these lines, then I will show you the other method, which is much easier. Usually when I'm drawing a pattern, or I'm preparing the artwork, the final version of the artwork, it will be the artwork or the painting or the drawing which will be done based on this one. So because there will be a lot of erasing on this one, so I don't want this erasing to be appear in the final artwork. So just try to ensure you are not drawing the lines in the spaces, because this will even, for example, if you are not drawing the final version on different sheet of paper, you will, like this sample, this is the same pattern, see, because I have not drawn in this area, so I don't need to erase. It will not appear in the final artwork. And later on in this video, I will also show that how to create this 3D effect on the pattern. So as you see now, once I draw the two circles on the corners, then connect the lines, ensuring that the two circles are the same size, I will have equal distance lines from the center line, and I can do this in the whole pattern. This is one method. The other method, which is I highly recommend, and it saves a lot of time, and it has more accuracy, especially in terms of if you are working in large pattern, or if you are looking for very tiny circles. For example, if I see here like these tiny circles, like 1.6 or 1.2, it will become difficult to use the pencil, because even the pencil, like for example, I'm using this 0.9, even if I'm using 0.5 pencil, that will become difficult. You can use this type of compasses. Usually these compasses will not come, are not sold separately. They come part of the set, which include different compasses. Maybe they are available separate, but I have not seen any of them are sold separately. I will leave a link in the description of this video of the set of compasses, which this one is available. So simply this is like the normal compass, but as you can see, the needle can be moved up and down very easily. So the whole idea is okay, let me put it in this one. Okay, so what you are using it in the same way you are using the normal compass, where you will put the needle in the corner. Then based on the size of the circle that you are looking for, you see that the pencil part can be adjusted easily. So if I want the circle to be this size, I just need to press on this on the needle side, on the top of the needle, as you can see here, with my finger, and the pencil will rotate. It is very easy to use. Even single-handed you can use it. You don't need to be using two hands. And as you can see, the size of the circle will not change unless I change it manually. So I can ensure that it has the same circle or the same width for all the lines. Let me erase these two lines which I drew before, so I can have the same circle size for the entire pattern. This pattern, which I will show you here, it will be used only for demonstration purpose, because I will also demonstrate different execution once you draw the double line. So as I said before, you will only draw the circle on the corners or where the lines meeting each other or ending, not where the lines are meeting, like here. I will not draw the circles. And you can see that how fast you can draw these circles with this type of compasses. And one of the things I like about this compass is the lines or the circle which you are drawing, they are very light. Unless you keep drawing over the circle again and again, you will end up with darker circles, which is good. For example, if you don't want to use eraser, and you will have only like very light marks of the circles at the end. I'm just drawing these circles for the entire pattern just to demonstrate different techniques which I will show in each section of this pattern. I guess that's it for yeah, I covered all the areas. As I mentioned before that when I draw these circles, I don't need to draw in all areas like here or here or here, because if I connect this circle to this one, I will end up with the double line for all the areas required. Also, one tip that if you are drawing these patterns and, for example, you don't want to have the center line visible at the end, if you are doing the weaving effect, try to draw it lightly at the beginning. Just draw them very dark with 0.9 pencil, so they can be visible in this video. So you can see that in this area the line is already connected. Maybe at the beginning you will find it a little bit challenging, but with the practice it will become very easy. And as I said, this is only a tool, this compass. So if you have the template, that's fine also. I'm only started using this compass like last year or a couple of years back. Before that I was using the template, the ellipses template. Also, another tip: if you want to connect large or long area, try to use longer ruler, so you will not end up with like you are connecting this dot or these two circles, then you connect these two circles, because sometimes even though that you are using the same size for all circles, maybe the line will be shifted a little bit, so you will end up with Like for example, if you see this one, like these two gaps are a little bit different, but that's fine for the purpose of this video, just for the illustration purpose. Because as I said that when I draw these patterns, I use smaller size pencil, which gives me more accuracy. Like for example, here I missed the circle, so the line is, the size of this line is decreasing as it goes till the end. So now the first technique that another tool before I start is using very tiny erasers for this, but even if you have normal eraser, that's fine. Just to make the drawing easier, or the erasing part easier, you can use a smaller eraser like this one. So now the first technique I will show, that if you just want to increase the width of the line, so in this case you will erase all the middle lines, or the initial line which you have used for the pattern. So as you can see here, now the line is become wider, so you can use it for painting if you want to paint it in different colors. So this is one effect. The other effect is if you want to have the weaving effect. The weaving effect is, it requires a little bit of paying attention what you are doing. So let me demonstrate with the pencil first, then I will use the eraser. So what you want to do is, you want to have the line goes up, or let me put it here. This line will go up when it meets the first line, so it will go up. Then when it will meet the next one, it will go down. So it's always up and down, up and down. So like when you are, it's called the weaving. Like it's the similar concept of if you are sewing. So in this case, so that when the line goes up, see if I erase only the single line, you can get the effect that this line is above the line going in this direction. Just to continue, this is going up, then it will go down. So I will erase the other direction. Just I will erase the remaining of the line, so it becomes more visible. So as you can see here, this line is going up, then when it meets the next line, it will go down, and it will continue this one. So this one is going up, then it will go down here. This is going up, then it will go down. One tip here is, whenever, for example, when you have a large pattern and you want to draw this weaving, it will help you just to, while you are erasing, just to say up, down, because when you repeat what you are doing, it will become more, you will ensure that you are not making mistakes. So this is going down, so this one will go up. Because this is already erased, I will draw only the connected line. And some patterns, they become very easy, like for example the fourfold, because you are dealing only with 90 degrees, 45 degrees angles, sometimes 25 and a half, but they are easier to draw than fivefold or sixfold. So these are the two effects which I explained. The first one is the weaving. The second one is the first one is the double line, increasing the width. The second one is the weaving. Now, in most of my drawings, which I post on Instagram, you will find that I am doing a different effect. Which is giving the illusion of 3D effect, especially if you are coloring the pattern with wood colors. So if you want to show that this pattern is a replica of a real pattern made on wood. So if you want to draw it, you can. I will show you now the final example and the method I'm using for this. Okay, I will use only this area. So what I was referring to is having this type of effect when I was talking about the 3D effect. As you can see, by using two colors, contrasting colors, dark and light, you can have the illusion of this pattern is a replica of a pattern made of wood. It is the same concept, the double lines, but instead of erasing the middle or the middle line, the initial line which I use for the pattern, I will keep it because this will be my reference between the dark and light. The only difference between this and the other techniques, which is the weaving and the double line, is in the interaction or on the where the lines meet each other or where they change direction. So let me redraw the single line here so you can. For example, here I will connect the outer lines. If my drawing is accurate, they will meet where the single line also change direction. This is also easier if it is in fourfold, because usually the fourfold is much easier in this type of execution. Okay, now when you have two lines meeting each other, you will end up with a cross connecting these corners. Like this. Okay. For the border, you will connect the outer lines where they meet also the outer lines from the border to the two center lines where they meet each other. So like this. This will give you this effect. You can see it here. Let me focus it more. See this and this. Here, after you finish this, you will end up with a lot of small areas which need to be erased, just to give you a guidance where to color. So always try to use similar color with different shades, dark and light. So for this purpose I'm using the brown. I always start coloring with the light color. The main reason is if I made a mistake and I colored an area which need to be dark, it is easier for me to go and draw over it or color over it with the dark one. But if I made a mistake with the dark color at the beginning, it become difficult to draw over it with the light color. So the whole idea is like when you do any type of painting, you just need to decide where is the source, the light source. That will give you guidance where to put the dark and where to put the light colors. This is much easier in the fourfold because you have only certain angles where you can very easy to identify where the dark and light. But if you have sixfold or fivefold, it requires some other details because you will find some areas that the pattern in the middle between the dark and light. So you need to keep the same consistency between all the areas for that. For example, if I'm doing this line in dark, it should be also repeated in the same shade for all areas would have the same direction. So if this is my light source, if this eraser is the light source, so this area will become, or the top area will become light. This area, the right area, will become light. So okay, let me draw this also so I can demonstrate for all of them, or at least for the corner side, sorry. Okay, so now I'm starting with the light color. So as I said, this is the source, the light source coming from this area. So the top area will be light, the right area also will be light. So I'm just adding the light shade on these areas. One of the tips that I want to share with you: when you start with one direction, try to do it for all the pattern, because you will ensure that you are repeating the same step for all the similar areas. Okay. Here I'm using the free hand just for the demonstration purpose, but I always use the rulers. Okay, so as I said that all these top lines are light, so I am using the coloring them at the same time. And here you can see that if I made a mistake and I draw or I colored the dark area with the light color, I can color over it with the dark, but I cannot do the same thing and if I made a mistake with the dark color. So now I finished the top area. I will do the same thing for the right side lines. I'm not very accurate here because I am just trying to do it very fast, but one of the beauty of the Islamic geometry patterns, the drawing and the coloring part, are when you take your time. Now this is the easy part where we understand this. This is the light source. The top and right side will be light color. Now the diagonal lines, they should follow the same concept. So the line which, or the area which is facing the source light, will be light. So this will be light. So here you can see that for some patterns, especially the fourfold, they are easy to identify where is the light, where is the dark. See, I am doing the same direction lines at the same time, or all the areas which would follow the same direction at the same time. Okay, now the other diagonal line, it is the same thing. So if the light source is this, so all the right side, which is following also the right side straight line, will be light. Okay, let me complete this also. Okay. Now I will shift with to the darker shade, darker brown. I will color the remaining areas. I know that sometimes you will see, okay, why I don't go over the other direction, since they all will be the same color. It depends on the medium you are using for coloring. For these brush colors, you can see the direction of your movement and the end, at the end once you finish. So it is always advisable to go with the same direction first. Okay, now, okay, let me just color this area also. And you can start noticing the difference between the area which is single color, single lined, and the area which has double lines or weaving, or because the final execution is with all these techniques will make difference and when you present your artwork. Okay, now we'll go with the diagonal lines. Okay, finally this area. As I said before, I am not very accurate in this video. It is only for demonstration purpose. And sometimes when you try to use, don't use two shades which are very similar to each other. Try to find some contrast. Like you can see, this one is very dark, this is very light. So when you draw them, you can notice the difference. Like even with this difference, maybe for the video with the lighting here, it doesn't show properly, but I will show another example which I used. I used gouache painting for this. This is my last. It was in my last post on Instagram. You can see that the contrast, how it is very visible, and how the final execution is very beautiful compared if you have it only with the single line. So that's it for this video. Please, I will try to make another video follow-up for this one, where I'll share more techniques also, especially for having two double lines, or having adding the depth of the same effect, of the wood effect or the 3D effect. So that will be a follow-up video. So that's it. Please, if you do this type of executions, share them with me or tag me when you post them on Instagram, and the final artwork also will be posted on Instagram for your reference. Thank you all, and see you in the next video.